Hey team, welcome back to Be Better Daily podcast. Just wanted to make a quick intro. We had Ray from Raisefit on the podcast. Um, he is a health and fitness professional, so he's currently a trainer at World's Gym over here in Perth, and you can also find him online as well. But he's got a pretty big backstory. He's faced a few challenges in his life, as we all have, but um, you know, Ray, in this podcast, we talk about how he found health and fitness when he was younger, quite early on to from what I can tell, how he dealt with some certain struggles with his father becoming an alcoholic and eventually passing away as well, unfortunately. Um, and he mentions a little bit about his mother's health issues. She's also gone through lymphoma cancer and come out the other side. And we spend quite a bit of time sort of finding out those little moments of inspiration that have kept him going along the way, along the journey, and sort of what has got him over those little speed humps, or big speed bumps, so to speak. So if that's something that you're interested in, check it out. We chat about you know how people can achieve their goals in terms of health and fitness more towards the end, and and you can learn where to find them. So check it out. Awesome. So welcome back to Be Better Daily Podcast. I've got Ray with us from Raisefit. Um, that's correct, eh? Raisefit.
That's it. It's a play on my name. So, raise
Yeah.
fit. Get it?
Awesome, awesome. I literally just had a chat with Jackson England, and the last time I was sort of alongside him was about 4 or 5 years ago, I think. Um, and I think it's about the same time that we used to work together. It was about
Yeah,
5 years
right.
ago.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, back in the
Yeah,
old good life days.
yeah, yeah. Because it was
Yeah,
before COVID,
definitely
before the
before
whole
COVID.
COVID thing. Yeah,
I think it was around like 2016, 2017.
yeah. So anywho, we got Ray on, and so mate, you'll be better at introducing yourself than me. You're an online coach and a face-to-face health professional as well. Tell us a little bit
Correct.
about yourself, brother.
Hi everyone. I'm Ray. Um, I've been somewhat in the fitness industry for the last 13, coming up 14 years now.
Awesome.
Um, guess I guess we start from the beginning as we normally do, right? Um,
Yeah.
got into it because I was a low confidence kid who wanted to get chicks and wanted a girlfriend. Turns out girls don't really
Yep.
care, and all the dudes are the ones that are complimenting your bigger biceps.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, through that, went through some struggles, family, personal, all that kind of stuff, and found that the gym was the thing that kept me level. I didn't go
Hmm.
down any sort of negative paths or anything like that. And one day, one of my good friends, Amy, shout out to Amy, she said, "Hey, look, you give out all this advice at work. Why don't you get qualified and get paid for this?" And I was like, "That's an idea." Um,
Yeah. Wicked.
so got my qualification and have been in the
Yeah.
game ever since. From working for myself to working in a supplement store to working online to working in a gym as a membership consultant to
Hmm.
full circle right back around now doing both online and in person now at World Gym Canning. So yeah, what else you want to know?
Yeah.
I don't know
Wicked.
where to go.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good summary. What were you, just out of my curiosity? So, what
Hmm.
were you doing before you started in the gym space? So, before doing your Cert 3, Cert 4, what were you doing before that?
So around then would have been, um, I'd say between the age of 17, 18 through to about 21 or
Yep.
2021. Um, I'd gone from being a graphic designer,
Okay.
realizing that's incredibly hard to work through. Still hold the
Mhm.
skills to that. Like I make all my own stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm the best, but that's where I started, and I still really enjoy that stuff.
Cool.
Moved into working for our local TAFE system. So I actually worked out of our uh, Thornley campus that we've got around here,
Mhm.
just doing typical admin reception work. And it was there that I was there for like a good couple of years, and that's where the turning point kind of happened for me. And I was like, yeah, no, I kind of want to pursue this. I enjoy this. It's a passion.
Mhm.
I see huge benefit from this. Why not I pay it forward and help others? Hopefully see the
Yes.
same. Yeah,
Awesome. So coming back to even before that, by the sounds of it, you mentioned that you were going through some struggles and training was your go-to to get you
yeah,
through that. Was that, yeah, is that correct? Yep.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Correct.
Yep.
Yeah. So around that time, I mean, how deep do you want me to go with this? I'm an open book with this, by the way. I don't mind talking about it.
Right. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's
All right.
go. Yeah.
So as I've already established, I was trying to get a girlfriend. That didn't
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, it was around that time, still, a little bit off and on, but really
Mhm.
enjoying it. And then finally found a bit of a groove where I dropped a bunch of weight. I was like about 105, 110 kilo, wearing way oversized, baggy clothes to hide it all.
Yep.
Dropped a bunch of weight, came into the 80s kind of area. And it was around that time for a lot of my life growing up. I kind of grew up, I feel a little bit sheltered, I guess, in a way,
Mhm.
like not really seeing how rough and tough the world really is, if I'm
Really
to
is.
explain it in
Yep.
that way. Right. And the thing that kind of pulled the veil away was my parents saying that they want to separate. Um,
Yeah. Okay.
Rewind a little bit. Why did it lead to that? My mum had a heart attack. My dad dealt with it practically by himself, which
Mhm.
then led to him having depression,
Mhm.
becoming an alcoholic,
Right.
becoming paranoid, all that kind of stuff. And it wasn't a healthy environment at home, basically.
Yeah.
And I was deep into the gym at that point, and 4 a.m. training sessions, that's
Yeah.
where us crazy people go at that time of the morning.
Yeah. And
The
how
minute
old are you around this time?
it would have been about 19, 20.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, where I kind of really established that love for it was, the moment I buzz in Anytime Fitness, there's doors
Yeah.
open. As soon as I hear that clang of the door shut behind me and my headphones are on, all my problems were left outside that door.
Yeah.
And it was just
Awesome.
me in the gym kind of thing. It wasn't about how big can I get my arms? What's
Mhm.
that juicy pump I can get? Can I get a new
Mhm.
bicep vein? Nothing about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It was just my brain could just switch off a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's the big part that's kept me with it. And that's where, I've had when I've previously personal trained, I've had, a personal training business, which used to be called Infinite Performance, meaning always
Mhm.
getting better.
Yep.
Now with Raisefit, it is a play on my name, but it also stands for raising your standards of
Yeah.
what you accept, you know,
Yeah.
um, in all aspects of life. And for me, my way to try and get people to see that is to get them to believe themselves in the gym a little bit more, where hopefully that bleeds
Mhm.
into everyday life, like it did for me
Mhm.
as well. So yeah, the gym was that thing for me that kept me steady. And I'm not comparing myself to other people who have maybe gone through similar things with
Mhm.
parents separating and feeling like your world's crumbling around you at a young age. But that was the thing that I feel for me stopped me from going down the partying route where I distracted myself or,
Yep.
for lack of other options, drugs and
Yep.
alcohol and an unhealthy lifestyle. You know what I mean?
The
The gym
the
was
gym.
that for me.
Yep. Yeah. So
Yeah.
how, like, 1920, um the gym's that thing for you. Was there an influence in your life that kept you down the gym path? Or was that just something that you just picked up on you completely on your own? Like, were you following someone? Did you have a mentor?
No, no, no. There was no one there really. I got into it initially because I was like, yeah, hell yeah, I'll be more
Yeah.
attractive.
Yeah.
um, And then because I'd kind of got a knack for it for a little bit, like I'd follow a few random online free programs and stuff like that,
Yep.
and actually stuck to a program to the T and saw results from it. Whether now in
Awesome.
this day and age and what we know was the most efficient way of doing it, probably not, but it got the damn result at the time. And that's
Yeah.
what got me bit by the bug, right? And I wasn't like full deep into it. I was just
Yeah.
enjoying it, right? And
Mhm.
it's when that tumultuous time happened that it became more for me.
Yeah.
And I think I just got drawn in. That was like my safe space, my sanctuary,
Yeah.
I guess, in a way. Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty cool to hear, mate, because it's so easy for people to choose the other way. And I think
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
we almost come from a culture where we drown everything out with alcohol or social or like other people,
Yeah.
to distract ourselves from everything else. But going down the fitness route
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
that
Yeah. And
age,
look,
that's pretty cool
at
choice.
definitely, definitely. And I've had other challenges, which I'm sure we can maybe explore if you like.
Mhm.
But um, what I want to highlight here is like I'm not impervious to those temptations to take the easy, what I would call the easy route. And it's not to belittle anyone who takes that route,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I have fallen for that during COVID. There were
Mhm.
certain things that led into when COVID happened. That when I was stuck at home during COVID,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
picked up bad habits.
Yeah.
So I am. It does happen. You know, I emotional eat every now and then. I
Mhm.
have stress eating habits. I have self sabotage habits. I'm a human being
Mhm.
like everybody else, but I do count my lucky stars that at that time when I didn't know anything different and I didn't have a mentor or anything like that, that's the thing I decided to drown myself in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, wicked. Good choice. Um,
yeah,
so proceeding on the timeline from that, so you threw yourself into a bit of training, going through this period of time where your parents were separating, etc. What came next? How was work? Did you were you working at the
yeah,
stage? Yep.
yeah. So I was still working at TAFE during that time.
Mhm.
Um, the natural progression from there. So, mum has a heart attack. Dad goes into depression. Home life is really crappy.
Mhm.
Mum and dad go, "Hey, we're separating." It's funny when they brought that question. They actually pulled me into the room one day and were like, "Hey, look, we're thinking of separating because we're just not getting along. If we were to separate, who would you stay with?" My 18-year-old, 19-year-old
All
ass
right.
went, "Neither of you. If you two as adults can't sort your life together, I don't want to be with either of you."
Uh, so did they kick
And
you out or what?
they were shocked. They were like, "Oh, okay." I was like, they're like, "Where are you gonna live?" I was like, "I'll figure it out."
Wicked.
Um,
And is that what happened, or did you stay with one?
no, no, no. So what happened was, so dad got deeper into alcoholism,
Mhm.
to the point like he wasn't going to work. He'd wake up on the couch. Next morning, I see
Yep.
him. He throws up. Blah blah blah.
Yeah. Right.
Not a good environment for my little brother and sister. So I'm the eldest of three.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
so I have a little brother who at the time I think was 12, I think, and my little sister who is 8 around the time, I think.
Mhm.
Don't quote me on that. So finally it got to a point where so my mum wasn't working. My mum was a stay-at-home mum at the time, and of
Yep.
course with her health issues,
Yeah.
wasn't working. So she's on um, Centrelink at the time, like support
Yep.
benefits,
Mhm.
and she finds a place that she might get approved for, and she wants to apply for it. And she talks to me about it, and I'm like thinking logically, I'm going, I don't want my brother and sister going into government housing or anything like that, or being in a bad neighborhood. Or is
Mhm.
they are a victim of the situation that we're dealing with. I have a
Yeah.
full time job, which at the time paid well or
Yep.
decently. If I can combine that income with my mum's benefits, maybe we'll get a better place. And we did.
Yeah.
So I spoke to my dad
Awesome.
about it, and he was like, "Cool, I get it." I didn't realize he was under the influence at the time when I spoke to him, so he doesn't recall the
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we move out.
That's
We're grabbing,
that's a big sense of responsibility on your part, right? Looking
yeah.
after your two siblings at that
I had to
age.
grow up real quick. I had to grow
Yeah.
up real quick. So went from being a somewhat carefree 18, 19-year-old to
Yeah.
turning 20 almost and having to go bang,
Mhm.
pull your socks up,
And
let's go.
this is in Perth, yeah?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so that's not
yeah.
your average 19-year-old Perth male lifestyle, right?
No, especially not in this day and age.
The
Yeah.
Cool, sorry, continue.
No, you're all good. You're good. So yeah, so we get a house. We start unpacking our stuff from our house. My dad's pacing around, paranoid that we're going to take stuff that's not ours.
Mhm.
Um, didn't let me take the bed that I had at his house because he bought it. So he was like, "No, that's mine." I'm like, "All right, whatever. I'll use a blow up
Okay.
mattress."
Yeah.
Um, my mum goes to go enter the house. I'm going a bit in depth here because it paints a picture for kind
Yeah.
of what precedes. Um, so she goes into the house to try and open the door because my dad's closing the door on her, and she goes to try and push the door open. He pushes back. She pushes a little harder. He rips the door open and comes at her with his fist. He doesn't throw it. He just does
Mhm.
this.
Yep.
I'm probably about 10, 20 meters away at my car. I see it in the corner of my eye. I don't know what happened. I blacked out, moved at the speed of light, ripped my mum out of the way, and got in his face. And I was like, "Hey, look, don't hit her. If you're going to hit anyone, you
Mhm.
want to take something out, take it on me because I can take it."
Mhm.
He didn't do anything.
Yep.
I was fuming. I cut him off. I didn't talk to him.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah.
so we move into this place. We live there. I don't communicate with him for almost a year.
Yep.
Uh, had no reach out from him. He didn't even try. Uh, missed my 21st, which we
Mhm.
can circle back to later with something I've discovered just this last year about myself
Yeah. Yeah.
regarding that point in time.
Yeah.
Um, and around the end of 20, that would have been 2011, I started feeling a lot of like, I say anger, uh, this uncomfortable feeling in the back of my head. Um, I was like trying to
Mhm.
discover what it was, and I realized maybe it might be because like he was at that point at the end of the year trying to make contact. How's Brooke and Travis, my brother and sister? Hope you
Mm.
guys are well. Try to call me, and I wouldn't respond. I wouldn't reply. Still angry. Finally, come around to it, and I reach out to him. I have a few emails which I've kept to this day because I read back on them, um,
Yeah.
and that kind of gives away the plot, doesn't it? It's leading somewhere.
That's all right.
But yeah, so I reach out to him, and we met up twice over a 4-week period. Just a quick chat. I went to his house, the same house we used to live in.
Yep.
Seemed he was doing a little bit better. He said he was having help. He was going to Melbourne to see his sister and stuff like that. He'd
Mhm.
come back, still didn't have a job.
So
And
how long after is this?
so about a year I hadn't spoken to him.
About a year.
And
Yep.
then,
Yep.
yeah, and it was about December 2021
Mhm.
when I started to open up that communication line with him to be like, okay, let's
Alright.
try and mend things back. Maybe I can help him if he's still
Yeah.
struggling.
Yeah.
He's my dad after all. And saw him twice. And then one was in December, once was in January. And I think it was early Feb, get a call from an international number. And it's his brother in Canada calling me to tell me that he's in hospital. Um, he's sustained some injuries. I'll keep the details out, but
Mhm.
sustained some injuries, head trauma, was put in a coma, basically.
Yeah.
By pretty much the next day that I could, I went and visited him. He was out. Basically, there was no coming back from it. There's the machines that were keeping him alive.
Yeah, right.
So his sister flew over from Melbourne, and as a consensus, we kind of made the decision because there was a bit of bad blood. We just decided, cool, let him go in peace. You know,
Mhm.
no matter what demons he's got, like let's just let him go.
Mhm.
And let him chill out. So that was the plot giveaway from before of why I keep the
Yeah.
emails
Yeah,
because it's my
yeah.
last communication with him. Um,
Yeah, right.
but yeah, there's that whole stretch of grow up, pull your socks up,
Mm.
figure out yourself how to be a man, I guess in a way.
That was
Yeah,
a bit of a whirlwind, right?
well, you wouldn't believe.
From
Now
from
looking back
start
on it,
to
I'm
finish.
like, holy
It's just like,
shit, how did I do it?
it
Yeah,
was a quick, like, season because that time frame would have been pretty quick
felt like ages,
looking back
but
on it. Yeah.
looking back on it, it's like such a short snapshot in time, and so much happened in that time frame.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Um,
So
so how old were you when your father passed at this point?
21,
21.
21. Yeah. Um, because yeah, he'd
Shit.
missed my 21st the week before, the year before, and he passed
Yeah.
2022. Not
Yeah.
2022, 2012.
2012. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Crazy.
what's life looking like at that point? So like or even making that decision. So was that with his sister?
Yes.
Was it with your
Yeah.
auntie that you had to
Yeah.
make that
Yeah.
decision?
Yeah.
What did that look like? Like, was there arguments? Were you all sort of on the same page straight away?
So because of the separation, there was a lot of judgment to my mum.
Mhm.
Her name was getting dragged through the ground. So I was the administrator, executor, if you want, for that
Yeah.
side.
Yeah.
Um, and we just all sat in a room with the specialist doctor,
Mhm.
um, and just took the information in, let it digest, and just went, yeah, like it makes sense, like
Yeah.
to kind of just let him go. There was no argument of like no or yes or any opposing opinions. I think we were all pretty. I like to think I'm
Mhm.
pretty level headed when it comes to heavy situations or arguments or
Yeah.
anything like that.
Yeah.
So even if there was like, I'd squash it, but
Mhm.
we took a logical approach with it rather than letting our heightened feelings take over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Tough time. And so now you were the man of the house, but now you're really the man of the house,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
So where do you go from here? Now that your father's passed, how's your mum at this point?
At that point in time, or right now?
Mm, at that point in
At
time.
that point in time, she's dealing with the loss of her husband, which
Mm,
even though separated, she still loved him. She
yeah,
had us kids. You know, without
yeah.
him, we wouldn't be here. Um,
It's a lot of time and a lot of history together, right?
correct. Yeah. Um, there's I think a bit of growing there as well. I know
Mm,
for me now, in retrospect, knowing what I know now, um, could have we done better? Probably.
mm,
Um, did we know back then? No, hell no, we didn't. We did
yeah,
what we knew was best in that moment,
yeah.
and that was the best choice that we could, to leave to take care of the little ones.
Mhm,
At the end of the day, he's an adult.
mhm,
Um, my brother and sister having to grow up and come to terms with it as well. They went through their own challenges too, which is pretty hard to see.
yeah,
Um, and for a long time, and I know I'm still working through this myself as well, but coming to terms with it as well and peace with it
mhm,
to a point that I realize what that has turned into in terms of behaviors that I have
yeah,
now as well,
mhm,
or how I feel or how I function as well as an adult
mhm,
man myself. Um, but at that time, yeah, I think the main challenge for my mum, besides the obvious of losing her life partner, someone who used to be her
yeah,
life partner,
yeah,
was just dealing with the backlash. Now, obviously, many parties involved in the loss. You know,
mhm,
there's a grieving mother, there's a grieving sister, brothers, and a lot of that blame for his death was put on her
mm,
because she didn't stay. She wasn't in the
yeah,
house
just
still.
yeah,
You know, not realizing that the decision made was to save us kids.
mhm,
So she had to deal with a lot of that. And again, part of growing up around that time, I think might have been the popular thing to do back then. I don't know. I had my own little bubble around that age. Um, was listening to motivation videos on YouTube. Eric Thomas,
awesome. Yeah,
all
yeah,
of that.
yeah,
Greg Plitt, all that kind of stuff. Be better, push more, you're capable of more, all that kind of stuff. And I think
yeah,
that's what's kind of pushed me, or helped shape me, I guess, a little bit.
yeah,
And at the end, like, it used to really bother my mum about what people would say about her or what she'd hear that people were
mm,
saying about her. And I still remember I'd have that conversation with her and be like, "Why do you care at the end of the day of anyone's opinions?" She goes, "No, but they're dragging my name through the mud." I was like, "Yeah, but does that pay your bills? Does that keep this roof over your head? Does that put food on your table?" She's like,
Mhm.
"No." I was like, "So pay it no mind. It doesn't matter. Let them live their life being miserable with these thoughts and opinions. At the end of the day, do you want to talk to them again?" She's like, "No." I was like, "Cool. Doesn't matter then.
Doesn't matter.
Move on." Yeah.
That's pretty wicked, man, and that's pretty awesome. I think anyway. I don't think it was a common thing to do. Listen to those motivational
Mm.
speakers and stuff at that age and at that time that you're going through that. I think that that just is a reflection of your choices and your deeper character. Um, which yeah, it's very interesting because like it, would I be right in saying at that time you did not have a mentor,
Yeah, correct. I didn't
right?
have anyone. Like the gym,
So you've
um,
the gym was your
Jim,
mentor,
he's a good
right?
guy.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
he's a great guy. A
Yeah.
lot of people hate him, but he's good. Um,
Um,
and
I'm
you've
just thinking about it
chosen to
now.
listen to these videos and stuff, you know?
Yeah, and I'm just thinking now, and I've never kind of connected the dots with this, but a lot of those motivational quotes and stuff like that kind of came about because they were put on fitness posts or fitness videos at the time,
Mhm.
you know, to make them, super popular and stuff like that, or to make them
Yeah,
stand out.
especially
Um,
old Greg Plitt.
yeah, 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 exactly.
Yeah,
And I think that's
yeah,
what led me to like I'd sit in my room late at night, headphones on, watching YouTube, and I'd be searching like a line from that quote that I would remember,
yeah,
and I would search it up, and out would come the original video, and that's how I
yeah,
stumbled upon things like Greg Plitt, who he actually was, Eric
yeah,
Thomas, the hip hop preacher, all that kind of stuff,
yeah,
and I think that's what made me then dive down that rabbit hole of listen, 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 and then
yeah,
take what I perceived from it.
yeah. That's like
Mm.
that's so inspirational in itself, brother, because where I'm from, shout out to Gisborne, the east coast of New Zealand. The boys would have just parked up on the bed and smoked a couple of cones and bongs, you know what I mean? And felt sorry for
Yeah,
themselves in that situation, and maybe even watch the situation get worse. So
yeah,
there's not a lot of that around where I'm from, and I think a lot of other people would connect with that too. Whether it's not smoking weed, whether it's alcohol, whether it's other drugs. As you know,
yeah,
you chose to go this route, which is awesome.
yeah. Thank you. I think a lot of it comes down to like if you're lucky, you've got the right people around you. If you're
Hmm.
lucky, you've had the right experiences that led you there,
Yeah.
um, or you've had enough, whether conscious or unconscious, bits of feedback in your environment. Heard something on a song, saw something on a
Hmm.
video, read something, which has piqued your interest and made you dig a bit more. So then, when metaphorically shit hits the fan,
Yeah.
you kind of fall back to it because it kind of resonated on something, and I think that's
Hmm.
kind of what happened with me is that I leaned into something that made me feel good at the time,
Awesome. Yep.
and something that made nothing else matter, and was just it was my meditation, I guess, so to speak, to
Hmm.
figure things out. And yeah, one thing led to another, and that was my mentor, in a
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Um, so you've you've found your mentor. You're working in this role. You're helping support the family. What's next?
So from there, that was around the time when my good friend Amy popped a little idea in my head to go get qualified.
Cool.
Spent, I think it was 6 months. I did part-time study, so 2 nights a week at campus, 1 day of the weekend. Um,
Hmm.
got my qualification. Honestly, going through the qualification, at that point, I'd done a lot of my own research,
Yeah.
built my own programs, all that kind of stuff, just
Yeah.
based on what I thought was right. Going through the course, not being full of
Hmm.
myself, but I definitely knew more than what the course and the curriculum was telling me. And there was a lot
Yep.
of stuff that I didn't quite agree with. The whole 90-degree squat thing, like that bullshit. Like, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah. Dude, stop.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going lower. Your knees are going to explode. No, they're not.
Yeah.
Um, um, but going through that, I had one very good lecturer um, in there, and he actually said, he goes, look, a lot of this stuff is outdated.
Mhm.
But just like it is when you are trying to get your driver's license, 10 and 2 on the steering wheel, check all the mirrors, all that kind of stuff before
Mhm.
you take a turn, all that kind of stuff. Do what needs to be done to get the license. Then drive
Mhm.
however the hell you want afterwards,
Yep.
because then
Nice.
all responsibility falls back on you. And I was like, cool. I'm reclining my seat way back and driving with one hand at the top at 12. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
not really.
Oh, nice.
I'm quite responsible. So
Um, Wicked, man. Yeah, that's cool. So you went through, and he's basically saying that you're gonna improve and do what you need to do afterwards. What did you do after you got your cert?
So I got qualified at the Australian Institute of Fitness, or AIF, as some people
Hmm.
know.
Yep.
Not long after that, I got a job opportunity as a uh, what do they call them? Like fitness gurus or something. That's what they call them at AIF. It's basically a salesperson.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I got a job as one of them, and that's probably another pivotal point in
Hmm.
my journey, so to speak, because I was still very shy at that time. Didn't talk to people
Hmm.
all that much. Like, I wasn't the person that went and met everyone in the middle of a room. Couldn't speak in front of people,
Yep.
um, and I had to learn sales.
Yep.
Yeah, so that
It's
was
a,
interesting.
selling for Australian Institute of Fitness.
Yep.
Was a lot of that in front of classrooms and people leaving high school and stuff like that, or what does that look like? Is it just phone
So
calls?
yeah, mainly phone calls. So you'd get
Yep.
inquiries coming through, people who want to inquire about the course and getting qualified.
Hmm.
Um, Calling them, qualifying them, booking them in to
Yep.
come in to see the campus, give them a tour, and then qualify them again and hopefully sell them into the course.
Tell them on it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what was the biggest sort of learning that came from becoming a salesman, or having to learn that role?
My biggest takeaway isn't what you probably think it was. Like, I did learn how to talk to people better.
Hmm. Yep.
So that really helped with that. My biggest takeaway, which I will always remember, um, can't remember his name. His name was Pete. I can't remember his last name by at the moment. Very handsome looking man. He was a sales trainer, coach kind of guy. So he would come in every quarter or so and train us up a little bit. I remember
Yeah.
one day we're sitting there and we're reading sales script. Hi, I'm Ray from Australian Institute of Fitness. I see you've inquired about one of our courses, blah, blah, blah,
Hmm.
all that kind of stuff. So I'm trying to read off, and he's telling us read off of it. It might feel robotic, but read off of it. So I'm reading, and I know this guy is like looming over me. He had this presence. So I'm getting like a little antsy because I'm struggling both with this guy's looming over me, and I'm reading aloud in front of people that I work with. And I'm like,
Hmm.
freaking out. And so I keep jumbling my words. And every time I jumble my words, I'll be like, hey, it's Ray from the fitness. Oh, damn it. I screwed up. Hi, it's Ray here from the Australian Institute of Fitness. How are you? I screwed up. The third time I did it, I get this massive hand go smack on the desk. And I'm like, well, what's wrong? And he's like, why do you keep doing that? I'm like, doing what? He goes, you keep saying, oh, I messed up. Oh, I did it wrong. And I'm like, because I did. And he goes, why repeat it to yourself when you were literally here living it? And I was like,
Yeah.
what are you getting at? And he goes, you repeating it to yourself is you instilling that there is a problem, that you screwed up, rather than just moving forward and just trying again. You don't need to tell yourself again and again and again and again that you screwed up or that you
Hmm.
did something wrong. So stop. The next time, read it again. Don't say you screwed up. Just keep going. I'm like, Okay. Did it again.
It's
I screwed up, but I just kept walking through it.
yeah,
And after a little while, I kind of got what he was saying because it was more than just the sales script thing. It was, we do this, and I think I tell a lot of clients this now as well.
yeah.
Oh, I screwed up that rep, or I screwed up my diet. I'm like, cool, stop telling yourself that.
Mhm,
Focus on what you're going to do next,
mhm. Yep.
rather than dwelling on what's already gone wrong. You can't change that. That's gone, but you can change what you do next rather than you just sitting there going, "Oh, I ate the whole tub of ice cream. I screwed up. I'm such a loser, blah blah blah." Stop telling yourself that. What are you going to do next?
It's, it's reinforcing the negative behavior, right?
Correct. Yeah.
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 Just
And that's where
like
that was my biggest takeaway. I just learned more so at that stage how to talk and not
mm,
belittle myself, because that's essentially what I was doing. I was being like, "Oh, I'm screwing up. Keep messing up. This is wrong. What's wrong
yeah,
with me?"
yeah.
In any aspect of anything that you screw up on, like, it's the same. But that's how I learned to kind of get past that barrier, and I got more confident from
Mhm.
that after
D
that,
would
and that's a big takeaway.
would, would you say that that's a feeling that you needed to be perfect straight away? Or what did you think where do you think that sort of came from?
Honestly, not sure. Not too sure. I think it is a level of
Mhm,
perfectionism,
mhm,
because there is the whole graphic design side of things. I had an eye for detail. I'd get artwork from other people, from a previous designer or a design they did themselves, and this line is slightly off from this line, and I have to bring them together, even though when it's zoomed out, you can't see it, but I can. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
maybe even I don't know. Never really thought about this properly. It's a great question.
mm,
Um,
mm,
but just trying to think that I do need to be perfect because I didn't really have that big of a role model,
mm,
uh, with the whole parent situation and stuff like that. They were great. My mom's great. My dad was great.
yeah,
Like, but they had their own challenges and stuff like that as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
So I was just doing the best I could as an adult myself at that time.
mm. And that whole sense of responsibility. So I'm guessing that your younger brother and sister are still living with you guys at this point?
Yeah, yeah,
Yep, yep.
yeah.
And are they, they're still at school?
At the time, yeah, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, okay, and
My brother was looking at dropping out
yeah,
around year 10 and stuff like that as well.
yeah,
Um, yeah.
right. Um, so you got the sales gig, you're sitting in it for a while, you're learning these things. What's the next step? What goes from there?
So from there, obviously we're working through. I'm working through my dad's estate and stuff like that.
Mhm,
As I became administrator. We sell his house. We get his super. So us three
mhm.
kids got a share of his super and stuff like that. Once that landed in my bank account, uh,
Party.
that you would think, but it was party in a different way. It was, holy shit, I can leave this job and I can actually
Yeah,
be a personal trainer now. I have a safety net to pay my
awesome.
rent. I have no idea
Mhm,
how to get clients, but this can be my buffer in the meantime.
mhm,
And so I
mhm.
did. Um,
Yeah.
one day going out to
Where'd you
go
do
and
that?
explore. When did I do that?
Yeah, where?
Where? Everybody in WA knows, or actually most of Australia knows, Revo Fitness. At this time, they were opening their second ever gym. So they had Shenton
Mhm,
Park first, and they were opening the Northbridge, the very first iteration of the Northbridge one.
okay.
And they actually contacted me at AIF to come and suss out, if we could fill their gym with some personal trainers.
Mhm.
And I went in, and all I saw was this gigantic 2,000 square meter playground of hammer strength equipment, dumbbells up to
Yeah, yeah.
60s, 10 racks along that squat racks along the back wall. I was like, wow, is this
I'm
heaven?
in heaven. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I walk up to the guy and I'm like, look, I'll get you some personal trainers. I cover my AIF badge and I'm like, how do I get a job here? Like,
Yeah,
and he's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, deadly serious.
yeah.
So had an interview with Andrew Holder, who's the owner of Revo. and very shortly after started as one of the first PTs there.
Cool.
Ran that for a couple of years, 3
Yep.
years, I think it was 3 or 4 years.
Mhm.
Um, went through a few relationships at the time. A
Mhm.
few relationships, 3-ish kind of relationships over that time frame.
Yep.
Um, and then from there, I ended up sidestepping into working for a supplement store, supplement mart. From there, because of my at the time partner, we thought we were having a kid. This part
Okay.
of the story gets a bit deep and dark. Not sure if you want it on the pod, but it's pretty crazy Jerry Springer kind of stuff.
Okay. Okay.
You're going to get
It's
so many listens on this podcast.
it depends where we want to go. It depends where we want to go. But
You're leading the way.
so from Revo, let's go. What was the biggest takeaway of launching, running your own PT for 3 years? What was the biggest? What was the one thing that you sort of can look back on and say you took away from that?
Can I give you two?
Yeah.
Okay. First one, I can do this. It's a weird kind of takeaway, but it was like, holy shit, I can do this.
Yeah.
Because I would get why I say that is because I'd get a lot of really good feedback without asking for it. I remember I
Mhm.
had, I'd call him a bigwig. He's part owner of a fairly big architectural firm here in Perth.
Yep.
Um, and I just remember one day on the Raw, we're just chatting, and he goes, "This is why you're great. It's because when you're with a client, I've seen you with other clients, and with me, you make me feel this way too. But you make it feel like I'm the only one in this gym right now." And
Perfect.
I was like, "Great, that's really nice to hear." Um, the second thing was more so because of the tumultuous nature of the fitness
Mhm.
industry when you're running your own business. Was no matter what, I'll figure it out. There'll always be a way. And it's because there would be times where I didn't know how the hell I was going to pay rent, both at the gym and
Mhm.
at my house. And the moment I kind of relinquished control a little bit, instead of trying to be so tight fisted with, I'm not going to spend, I'm not going to eat, I'm just going to save all my money and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Whenever I did that, clients would drop off. I'd stop being
Contracted.
a good coach. Yeah.
Mhm.
And when I started to realize, okay, cool, just be the best coach I can. What will be, will be. You'll figure it out.
Mhm.
Suddenly, the next day, 3 new people will sign up.
Yeah.
One of them will
Wicked.
pay in full, which is a couple of weeks of rent,
Mhm.
and things would work out. And I kind of started to build that confidence and that trust in myself and in the process that if I just do the things and tick the boxes, the outcome will come.
That's really powerful. Like, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
That's
It's backing yourself. It's
yeah.
trusting in yourself that you'll figure it out along the way. You'll make
Mhm.
mistakes. They'll
Yeah.
be terrifying. You'll have a lot on your shoulders potentially to
Mhm.
lose, but you'll figure it out.
So
Yeah.
then you cheers for sharing that, bro. And then you ended up in this relationship. You're about to have a kid, so you choose to go down the supplement mart route.
Hmm.
Is that for the idea of security,
Yeah.
consistency?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It was the security, consistency, predictability.
Mhm.
Um, I was with Supmart for about, I think about 2.5 years, something like
Yep.
that, or a year and a half. I can't
Yep.
remember, so long ago. Um, yeah, I was there for a bit. As much as I enjoyed being there, and look, at the time it served its purpose,
Mhm.
I regret, because me making that change, what I just told you of like, I'll figure it out. I
Mm.
didn't believe in myself when that happened.
Mhm.
So me taking that sidestep was me not believing that I'll figure it out, and that I needed something else to take control a little bit.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And it's something I think back on. I'm like, why did I let myself do that? If I had, look, the relationship was great when it was great. It didn't
Mhm.
end great,
Mhm.
but if it was someone else, I even argue if it was my partner that I have now, who I'm very incredibly grateful for,
Hmm.
would have she let me make that decision to go and sidestep away from what is my real passion and my real enjoyment and my actual business to step
Yeah.
aside into another business? Would have she talked to me to not talk me out of it, but have another input rather than just
Mm.
me thinking that that was the best choice for us at the time?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one. And obviously you're a deep thinker and you're someone that will probably look at it from different avenues when you look back on it now.
Mm.
But even having to, if you look at it now, you'll probably see it as a sideways step or even a step backwards. That it's obviously served its purpose. It's almost like
Correct.
another training ground or another time that you possibly needed to refine your skills and in
Well,
order to
yeah,
take the next step.
it's a different branch. If I had kept going down the path that I was going down, yeah, I could be way further ahead as a sole trader, personal trainer,
Hmm.
coach, wherever in my life, still
Hmm.
potentially. But at the
Yep.
same time, I don't know what that is. I only know what I know now, which is I'm in a
Yeah.
fantastic position where I am at the gym I'm at now, with the partner I have now,
Yeah.
with the life I have now. That led me
And,
here.
and where is here for you right now? So you're at Worlds.
Yeah, the new Well Gym Canning Vale. We've
Hmm.
been open for 8 months now. We opened up
Yep.
July 2024. Um, I
It's a
started with
massive
zero.
gym too, right?
Oh, it's huge, huge. Man, I got to get you to
Yep.
come down. Come in for a
Yeah.
sesh,
Yeah. It looks
and we'll
sick.
tear it up. You'll probably still outlift me as well. I hate that.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
um,
For sure.
yeah, fabulous gym. Bottom floor is all equipment, multiple chest machines, multiple back machines, multiple leg machines, a
Hmm.
huge turf area.
Hmm.
We're currently revamping our group fitness room for something else. At this point in time, I can't say what that
Okay.
is, but you'll see in time.
Yep. Yep.
Um, we
Do
upstairs,
they
we've
have
got a
a
full recovery center.
recovery? Yep.
Yeah,
Awesome.
upstairs, so we've got ice baths, ice room,
Hmm.
sauna, steam room. Yeah, yeah, I've definitely desensitized to that wellness area because I haven't been in there for over a month, and I jumped in it last night. Could only last 1 minute in the ice bath, down from
Yeah.
5 minutes. So,
5 minutes in the ice bath.
yeah,
Mate,
yeah,
that's pretty insane. Yeah.
yeah.
I'll
You build up to it.
yeah. Heat heat is the one that I can't handle the
Mm,
most. So sitting in the sauna for me just whew,
kills you.
I can't handle that. Yeah. Um
Yeah.
Anywho, so that's where you are now and you're also online.
Yes, correct. Not heavily established online.
Hmm.
I have a very small roster online as well, but I am working on building that out as well. I've got some things in the pipeline. I'm trying to build out a
Cool.
full course program,
Hmm.
DIY stuff, for people who want to do it themselves, like I did, but with a bit
Yeah.
more guidance and structure.
Yeah.
Um, and
Structure's
just
the
really trying
important
to,
word, eh?
oh, yes, yes, structure builds any result
Yeah.
beyond accountability and consistency.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, some cool stuff in the pipeline. I think that's going to help me build out a community. That's the big
Mm.
thing I want, is just that community where I already see it in the gym with my face-to-face clients. They more or less know each other and they'll help
Yep.
each other out. They'll say hi, they'll come and chat, they'll chat to each other. I love
Mhm.
that so much.
Yeah,
Love
wicked.
it so much. Yeah.
So you're mainly in World's Gym doing the
Yeah.
face-to-face stuff, which I love. When I used to be a trainer, the face-to-face stuff is the hands-on stuff is awesome.
Yeah.
And obviously online plays its role as well
Yeah.
because you have the ability to train people all around the world, all around Australia, and they have access to you and your methods and how you work. Um, where do I want to go? So we are limited for time, so I wanted to touch on a couple of health and well-being questions because you've been in the
Yeah.
game. long enough now that you could quite confidently say that you've got
You'd think
some
I'd know something.
some decent experience, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, let's have a quick chat about. I've got written down here females with a little arrow, massive. So obviously we all know that females, as soon as they pick up a 2 kilo dumbbell, they're going to look like Arnold
They're just
Schwarzenegger,
I
right?
know, I hate that they have that gene that makes them do that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it's unfair. I've been training my whole life to be that big, and it's still not working.
Now, I guess you probably come across that question from people that want to work with you, and then all of a sudden you might chuck them through a weights session or weights program, and they start to freak out.
Mm.
How do you go about uh, connecting with those people and bringing them back down to earth, I suppose?
Well, I'll say it as it's coming into my mind right
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
I would say one of my superpowers with my clients is that I bring a lot of humor and stupidity to really not dampen the session or make it not so serious. It's to make it more of a friendly environment. Realize, hey, look,
yeah,
it's not that serious, right? We can have a lot of
yeah,
fun while we do this.
yeah.
So literally, as I told you just then, look, I've been trying for the last 10 years to get as massive as Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it's still not working. I literally use that line with them, and they're like, "Oh," and I
Yeah,
was like, "You'd think, again, not to toot my own horn here or anything like that, but like in context, you would think someone with gigantic muscles is also gigantically strong,
mm,
as well.
mhm,
Um, for context, I'm 6 foot, I'm 83, 84 kilo, and I
mhm,
can pull 200 plus off the ground for reps easy.
yeah,
I- I'm
which is
not
strong
huge.
for those who are
Yeah,
listening. Yeah,
I'm not huge, so
yeah,
there is a very loose correlation between strength and heavy weights and bigger muscles, but that is an over the
mhm,
time kind of thing. And so I do try to come from that angle of like, let's put it in a funny, weird, kind of quirky way to them because it sticks rather than me being all
yeah,
logical and sciencey with them where it's just going to go
yeah,
whoop straight over their head.
mhm,
Um, so I'll start there. If that doesn't work, it's just try and hound it home with more simple but logical kind of answers of,
yeah,
you know, um, hey, look, what happens when you eat more food over time? Oh, I gain weight. Yes. What happens when you eat less food over time? What happens? Oh, I lose weight. Yes. Now imagine if you ate more food to gain weight, but you also weight trained. What do you think would happen? They think I'd gain weight. I was like, yes, you'd also probably build a little bit more muscle, but
mhm,
keyword is little. And if
yeah.
you reduce your food intake and you lift weights, what do you think is going to happen? I lose muscle. I was like, no. You tell your body to keep muscle, and your body fat strips away, giving you that, I hate to use this word, toned
Toned.
look.
I knew you
That
were gonna say that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. You have to speak in their language because that's what
yeah,
the media does. Um,
cool.
but that's how I'll try and explain it to them, and just really reiterate what it is.
Mhm,
Um, and I think before that as well, it's just as but much as possible reading between the lines in conversation. Um, I'm a big stickler for like terminology and the words that people use and stuff like that when they're just normally conversing with me. They don't even know I'm analyzing them, but I'm
mm,
trying to hear little things that might be objections or problems along the journey. So if I
yeah,
hear someone say like, oh, I don't want to do too much cardio, I don't want my muscle wasting away. It's like, oh God, like, okay,
yeah,
we have to go down this tangent to try and teach you that that's not going to
yep,
happen unless you're
yep,
really screwing things up.
yep,
Um, yeah. So in the same sense with muscle gain, it's like, yeah, you'd have to be on some pretty strong steroids,
mhm,
um, lifting a lot and eating a lot to outsize me if you're a 5 foot
yeah,
petite female.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So just touching on, what does your clientele look like? Like, who are they? Who's the majority of the people that sort of train with you?
So funny enough, and I think it's because I've got a few grays coming in my beard. It's older people,
Yeah,
and they're just like, he's the only one with grays. Let's go with him. Um,
yeah.
but I honestly think more of them are coming to me because, and this is purely from their feedback.
Mhm,
They've sussed me out on social media. I don't post a lot of me, whoa, look at me, and I'm posing and all this kind of stuff. Which, if you do that, cool, by all means,
Yeah.
it's obviously working
Yeah.
for you. But I don't do that. It's not my thing.
So we're not
I've
going to
never even.
see booty shots on your
I might do it for
Instagram?
fun. I might be like, "Is this how you do it, girls?" kind of
Okay.
thing, and like, like my humor on it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you won't see me standing in the mirror flexing my abs, or
Yeah.
I feel awkward enough doing a double bicep and stuff like
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
I'm in the gym to look good for myself, not for anyone else. I don't care.
Nice.
Um, Maybe my
Yeah.
partner too. Uh,
Yeah.
but I don't
That's
post a lot
pretty
of that on my
cool because
social media,
the way you started was to look good to get the girls.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't
And
need
now
their
it's and
opinion.
now
I
it's for
I
you.
have one. I have the best one. I don't need anyone else's opinion. So,
Nice. Nice.
um, but I think it's because I don't post a lot of that stuff. I post actual informative stuff that makes people think. Um, what other feedback? I'm approachable. I
Mhm.
like to be as open as I can with the members of the gym as well.
Yeah.
And because people have then over time seen that I've brought someone in who's signed up with me and barely been able to bend their knees to now being able to squat ass to grass pain free,
Mhm. Awesome.
reduce their arthritis symptoms. I joke around and say it's magic, but it's not really magic. It's just progressively making progress
Yeah.
with various movements and understanding what are the potential common culprits for those problems and helping them work through it, having a curious mindset with them,
Yeah.
and not pretending like I know everything and just going, let me give this a go. If we can get a result and an outcome out of this, you
And
can stick with me if you want.
speaking of results and outcome, like how what are the, I don't know, key 1 to 3 things that you find with clientele that actually leads to results? What would you say for anyone who's sort of seeking it?
It's going to sound pretty cliche.
Mm?
The number one would be develop consistency. Um, I'll probably start there because consistency is everything.
Yeah.
It builds momentum as
Mhm.
well. If you imagine, rolling a rock down a hill, or hell, even a ball, which even has a better rolling ability down a hill.
Yeah.
If that hits a rock or hits a bush, it loses momentum and it doesn't move as quickly from that stopping point again. It has to build momentum again. The same
Mhm.
happens with muscle gain or fat loss or whatever your goal is. From where you start, if you have a stopping point here, you now need to build that momentum again. And it's those first few weeks where that speed and that traction is being built up. That's where you get frustrated. And that's where a lot of people give up because they don't have anyone to keep them accountable.
Mhm.
Whereas
Mhm.
if it was all smooth sailing, at that same point, if you just went down, didn't hit the bush, didn't hit the rock, you'd be moving from 1 kilometer an hour. At this point here, you'd be moving at 100 kilometers an hour. At the end goal, you're probably moving at 200 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
Whereas if you hit that bush, you're back to zero and you're starting at one again. But you're
Mhm.
far further ahead than where you were back here where you started.
Mhm.
So consistency is a big thing because you just cannot stop until you get the outcome that you're after,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
No matter what life throws at you, because it's got to throw shit your way. So
Yeah.
that's number one.
Okay.
Number two, 100% have a plan. No flippy
Mhm.
floppy, oh, I feel like doing arms today, or I feel like eating this today. Follow a damn plan. It
So
sucks
you
at the start.
can't
Definitely sucks at the
you
start.
can't just go in and feel your body and
Do that at
do
home in
what
your
you
own
feel
time. Like, you can get away with that for a little while. I actually have a client
Yeah.
at the moment who used to do that, and he's dropped a
Yeah.
phenomenal amount of body weight in that time. Uh,
Yeah.
but he's getting now to a point where it's diminishing returns.
Yeah.
And I actually consulted with him a little bit, free of charge. I was just like, look, I just really want to help you, man. You've got a bunch of weight you still need to lose. You've done a fantastic job already, but I
Mm.
truly believe you need some structure and
Mhm.
someone to help you carry that burden of getting you to your goal.
Mhm.
Everything I've tried to tell you, like you've rebutted with something, I'm going to give you an offer for the next 8 weeks. Work with me for free. If you like it, coach with me if you feel like it. If you
Hmm.
don't, take what you learn, go do your own flippy floppy if you want to after that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Guess what's happened? He's started to get some real freaking decent traction in his
Hmm.
weight loss again because he's
Yeah.
got that structure. And I think the big reason for having a plan and that structure is you have a measuring stick now.
Yeah.
You know how far you're progressing every week, and you know whether or not something needs to change. If you're flippy floppy, you don't know what you're measuring,
Hmm.
and you cannot make a logical decision on what
Yeah.
needs to be changed. It's
Yeah.
I often use the analogy of like your finances. Let's say you really want to buy that $100,000 car. I was about to say Ferrari. What Ferrari is $100,000? Who am I kidding? Maybe once upon a time.
The Honda Ferrari. Yeah.
Yeah. um, that $100,000 car, and you really, really want it. If it means so much to you, you'll start to understand a little bit more about how much you earn. You'll track everything that you spend and then make a budget of how much you can put aside after every paycheck to make sure
Hmm.
that you get to the end goal as quick as damn possible.
Hmm.
Why don't we do that for our actual selves? We are the Ferrari.
Yeah.
We're not a Honda, like you said. We're a
Yeah.
Ferrari, you know. Why aren't we doing it for ourselves? You
Yeah.
know, and that's to rebuttal people who don't want to follow a nutrition plan, who don't want to follow calorie counting, who don't want to do a
Hmm.
training program to do their cardio, to track their steps. There's so many
Hmm.
things because it's the too hard basket. But you tell them to
Hmm.
save for a holiday or a house or a car, and it's not too hard. It's like, God
Yeah.
damn it! Like, this is your body, for God's sakes. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. This is your vessel, right?
yeah,
Um, and so those are the two main things. You got the consistency and the plan.
I'd say those are probably the two main things. The third
Yeah.
one's kind of a loose one, but find some sort of accountability. And
Hmm.
that's not to plug myself as a coach and be like, you
Yeah.
need a coach, and then more people come sign up with me.
Yeah.
Hunky dory if that happens. But
Yeah.
that could be simply a friend. It could be
Hmm.
a buddy at the gym, which is outside of your circle.
Hmm.
It could be a coach. There are levels to
Yeah.
this, but
Yeah.
find someone that you can now attach your goal or the adjacent goal to, where you showing up, ticking the boxes, doing what you need to do is bigger than you. You know,
Hmm.
showing up to the gym, for example, if you're renowned for always skipping sessions and not doing your training sessions, having someone that you feel that you need to show up for because they're going to be there, and you'll feel bad if they show up but you don't,
Hmm.
your likelihood of still showing up even though you had a shit day is much higher. Without
Yeah.
that person, you're just going to go, nah, see you later, I'm not coming
Yeah.
in today, I had a bad day. No one cares you had a
It,
bad day, just show up.
it's too easy to go with how they feel on the day, right?
Yeah,
How their mood or their emotions are, whether they've had a
yeah,
bad day at work or something's going
yeah.
on.
And I almost guarantee every single time, no matter what type of day you had, if you just show up just for yourself, even for 5 minutes,
Hmm.
you'll walk out feeling better
Yeah.
100% of the time.
Yeah. Um, so I don't know if this is a hard one or not, but coming back to number one, because
Mm,
I believe in this as well. Like it's a big thing, consistency.
mm,
Um, how how do you get someone from not being consistent to consistent? Um, because yeah, from what I see, that in terms of general population terms, that's probably one of the or the biggest thing
mm.
is that
Yep.
consistency. What pieces of advice would you give people to find that consistency? I'm just not motivated, or I start and then I quit, or things
Yeah.
just keep popping up. And the reality is we both know that life is just going to still be life, whether it's this week or
Y-
next year or the year after that. So things are always going to pop up, brother.
Yeah. Yeah. Um,
Yeah,
you pay me and I'll tell you the answer. No, I'm kidding.
yeah.
No, the simple thing that I do, and people can probably use this as a bit of an exercise as well for themselves, if
Yeah.
they're wanting to work through it, is somewhat take tabs or accountability for what you typically do in a day over a week. Like, you need a bit of a bigger time horizon than just one day.
Hmm.
Look at a week. And then start to spot maybe patterns. So look at patterns first. Like, are you eating at similar times? Are you waking up at similar times? Are you going to bed at similar times? And you can start to see what things you are doing, which you don't even think about, and what things you're maybe not doing that you're not thinking about. And
Mm-hmm.
then, dependent on, I guess, the goal at the end of the day, let's use fat loss as a reason, right? I would say, firstly, number one, everybody knows what they should do to lose weight. It's not a secret. Eat less, move more. But it's not as drastic as what some people make it out to be. So
Yeah.
let's say this person wants to lose weight. They've done it before, but they keep gaining the weight back. This
Mm-hmm.
person wakes up 5 minutes before they got to leave the house for work. They skip breakfast. They buy takeout for lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Or they just completely skip lunch. And then they come home, they demolish a gigantic dinner and some snacks and stuff like that. And they drink alcohol because they're so stressed out during the day. And they're probably eating a lot of sugary snacks and coffees and stuff like that throughout the day because their
Mm-hmm.
energy levels are shit. I'm speaking purely here as well by anecdotal commonalities that I see in people.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then they go home. There's maybe relationship stresses, kids have to cook dinner, do the laundry, get the house tidied, all that kind of stuff. Before they know
Mm-hmm.
it, it's freaking 11:30 at night, and they've got to wake up again in 5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Rinse and repeat that over a number of days, a number of weeks. Anyone in their right mind is going to burn out.
Yeah.
So number one
Yeah.
is what by taking tabs of what their habits are, they can maybe start to logically look at maybe what are maybe from this, what's maybe 3 to 5 of my top problems that are coming from this. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I wake up too late to get anything ready in the morning. That's maybe number one. And in no
Mm-hmm.
particular order. Number two, I don't pack any food with me. Number three, my energy levels are shit. Number
Yep.
four, I sleep too late.
Mm-hmm.
Number five, I have a lot of stress. So you got 5 things now. One by one, you try to you go, okay, what's the solution to just only number one? So number
Yeah.
one was I wake up too late to get anything prepared. Okay. Solutions, wake up earlier or prepare my stuff the night before. Okay. You
Mm-hmm.
try those 2 solutions out. If you can't think of a solution and you're like, oh, this is too hard to think of it, good question to ask yourself. What would it look like if it was easy? And then just do that
It's a
because it
good one.
switches
Yeah.
your perspective a little bit. Instead of you
Yeah.
just going, oh, this is too hard, because you're thinking logistically and logically with your current lifestyle. But if it was
Mm-hmm.
easy, if it was someone else in your shoes, what advice would you give? You'd probably give them the best advice in the world.
Yeah.
But because it's you don't
Because we all
listen to
know
your
what
damn
to
self.
do, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So and do this pen to paper. Doing it in your
Yeah.
head never works because there's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
other distractions going on up here. So putting it on pen to paper makes it very logical. Um, so you make your solutions and you try one
Mm.
solution. If it sticks, hunky dory, move on to the next problem. If it doesn't stick, try another solution. If that solution doesn't work and you're out of solutions, think of more.
Yeah.
If you can't think of more, put your pride away and ask for help.
100%. Yeah.
That's it. And it's literally that simple. It's just go, what are my top couple of problems that I'm having? What are the solutions? And
And
just logically work through it.
to be honest with you, if people like everyone's busy these days, right? And
Mm,
then everyone has the perception that they're the busiest person in the world.
mm,
Well, maybe not everyone, but you get what I'm saying.
yeah.
So if you are so busy, maybe it is better to get someone else to, from the outside, have a look
Yeah.
from the outside in
Yeah.
to help you figure this shit out.
Like
Like
I know what I'm
especially.
doing. I literally work in this industry, right? And I have a coach
Mhm.
myself because when I
Mhm.
started at World Gym, I was spending hours at the gym to try and build up my client base, to get my name out there, to build trust.
Mhm.
That I found it very hard for me to focus on my own nutrition, for me to write my own nutrition plans, for me to write my own training, all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So eventually I ended up hiring one of my colleagues there and I was like, hey, can you be my coach?
Awesome.
And we both have a very similar viewpoint on things. He's a
Yeah.
very successful coach himself, and he shout out to John Shaw,
Yes.
and he too was like, yeah, let me help you carry the load. Like whether it's me or someone else, having a coach is there to help you carry the load. You don't have to do it all yourself. I'll do the
Yeah.
heavy lifting, you execute. That's it.
Absolutely. And it's like you look at the best sports people in the world, they've all got
Then
coaches.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know, all of them. Um,
Success drops hints, right?
mm, mhm,
And success isn't just defined by like this is an athlete, a top world athlete. Success
yeah,
could be, old Joe Blow over here landing a job. It's like, okay, how did you successfully get that job? Blah 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 blah. There's steps that led him there. No
yeah.
matter what it is, whatever the outcome that is achieved, that is a success. So
Mm,
follow the hints. You know, look at the big one and dilute it down to your own situation.
yeah. Um, Look, brother, we're gonna be out of time. I feel like we could talk forever on either topics, whether it's life or training and nutrition. I feel like we've just scratched the surface, really.
Might have to come
Um,
on again, huh?
mm, Definitely. But just a quick one. Who inspires you at the moment?
You got good
Do you have
questions,
any
man.
mentors or anyone that you look up to, brother?
I think I've said this once before. I don't know where I said it. My mum inspires me. And that sounds
Awesome.
very mummy boy kind of thing, but
Yeah.
with everything that she's gone through, everything she's dealt with, the pains, the aches, the medical conditions, the sickness, she still wakes up every morning with a big smile on her face
Yeah.
and gets on with the day, no matter what.
That's aw-
And that's
that's awesome.
awesome.
Um, Sorry for jumping in and sort of cutting you
Yeah,
off
no, you're
there,
good.
but I just want to get this out because I think that is amazing to hear you say that because I think in the society that we live in today, mothers don't get recognized enough for the amazing work
Yeah,
that they do, especially
yeah,
if they're rock solid mums.
yeah,
And they like when you think about it, they are contributing to the creation of the future of the next generation.
absolutely.
Um, so if everyone, it's yeah, I better stop it there before I get in trouble. But shout out to all the mums. Shout out to all the
Yeah,
mums out there that are putting in the hard work, that are trying to create the better humans of the following generations.
yeah,
Like I think that's pretty wicked.
absolutely. Keep doing the good work.
Um, Besides me interviewing your mum on here, who else would you who else would you like to see on the podcast?
Don't know, really. Yeah, it couldn't. that's that's a funny question. Um, I don't know. I'm very open to different walks of life, different professions. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head though.
Yeah.
Like something mentalist psychology. Like I'm all
Mm,
about that stuff. I love that stuff. Like how to
awesome.
read people, you know, um, because I can think there's a lot of stories that you can kind of hear from these people and their experiences and their professions.
Mm,
Because there's a story behind why they got there in the first place as well, right?
yeah.
Into that profession. So hearing that and then hearing how that somewhat bleeds into what they do and the types of people that they help, that'd be brilliant. Like even in the actual health industry, like
Yeah.
doctors, stuff like that as well. Actually, thinking about it now, again, great question. Um, an oncologist. I don't
Mhm.
know any. I don't know any. Um, but yeah, an oncologist would be a fabulous one because my mum's gone through lymphoma
Mhm.
as well. Beat it. Um,
Awesome.
if there's any out there that are open to talk and speak about their journey through whatever they did to get to where they are now, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and commonalities, anything that can help people even perhaps lower their chances of getting any form of cancer, I think that would be beautiful.
Awesome. Um, I'll definitely look into that too, because the specialist that I had was just he was amazing.
Yeah.
Um, one of the doctors I had, maybe not so much, but the
Mm.
specialist was like, yeah. And
He
I
was on.
think I just want to say, I think we're lucky to be in Perth because the
Oh,
treatment
yeah.
and the quality of it is it's just absolutely
It's up
amazing.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, cool, brother. And one last. So if you were going to leave a note for anyone, not just health and well-being, even though it's tied into it, on one piece of advice for anyone to improve or be better, what would that be?
One bit of advice. Again, probably going to sound a little bit cliche, but I'm just going strictly off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But it's just don't stop. No matter
Nice.
what is thrown your way, no matter what you come up against, what hardships, challenges, whether that's health, your fitness,
Mhm.
that extra rep you couldn't get in the gym, that extra plate you couldn't add to your deadlift,
Mhm.
a diagnosis, a relationship breakup, hell, even mental health battles where you feel like the only way out is to control alt delete.
Mhm.
Don't stop. Don't give in. Like there's a lot of good things and joy on the other side of that suffering. And in
Yeah.
the moment, no matter what, and I'll add one more little tidbit to this as well. And this is one thing I've told a lot of people when they've come to me and confided in me to talk to me about stuff because they've
Mhm.
heard what I've gone through. And then they'll
Yeah.
come to me about, I don't know, a girl problem or something like that. And they're like, they'll vent and then they'll belittle themselves straight away and go,
Mhm.
"Oh, I shouldn't be complaining to you because you've gone through far worse." And I'll always stop people and say, if you feel like the world is ending around you, do not belittle yourself because if the world is ending to you, then it's ending to you. But
Mhm.
it doesn't need to end at you. Just keep going because what I went
Yeah.
through is up to my threshold. It's relative to me. It's not relative
Yep.
to you. You know, what you're going through might kill me, but here you
Mhm.
are pushing forward, still kicking goals, still pushing through the pain.
Yeah.
You know, don't belittle what you're going through, but no matter what you're going through, just don't stop. Keep going.
Keep going. Brother,
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you for your time. I respect you and your time and all the gold nuggets that you've dropped on us today. Um, yeah, man. We're gonna
Thank you
have
for
to cut
having
it
me.
off there. But cheers for that. Where can people reach you?
You can grab me on Instagram. It's Ray underscore Raisefit,
Mhm.
Raisefit. Um, yeah, that's probably the best place to find me actually. Or
Yeah.
just
Or
search my
Wilt's Gym.
name, or Will's Gym Canningvale. Yeah, just come down, ask for Ray. Um, come have a chat. I'm always open to meeting new people. So if you're in the area and want to lose some weight, build some muscle, get strong, manage some injuries, whatever you need, come chat to me. If I can help, I'll help. If I can't help, I'll definitely push you on to the right person.
Perfect, brother. Thank you. Thank you for your
Awesome.
time. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it.